You know right, assassin me. Airport and my moja nananum shegu edigu on my
Memo bibi akwaba eba Melodies TV so. There is an article bi a trendy na query ene nyame nimni. I think say we need to talk about it. We need to have a discussion on this. Especially uyo bia wa investi usika ewo bank ewo Ghana. This is coming to you. Now, and there, right, today, and there, me who say obi a menim no a wo ye NDC communicator. Asha say what throw ewo social media say usika ewo bonds and treasury bill ewo Ghana. Ewo say wo kona okoko yi usika no because aban ba be ye debt restructuring. Na mantiasie eno hunti metage enkrofobia mesusu se omo betre asem na se so that matiasie ye na mediaba aba beto Ghana for munim. Now I've gotten an article bia. The article is coming from a website known as cdtalk.com. Now the kwene nyame nimni, they've broken it down for us all to understand what is going to happen. Na assembly ni na no utie CD Talk ensemo a womo kan womo se Ghana ekada yeso na ekada yeso ninti ama bosua ye kwa abonten se ye kwa akobo no mbrofofo impeso de bosua no ebeman IMF krachre se omone yen ebeto program so a say one of the things was say ye debt restructuring obi bisa say debt restructuring no enyo no den se eka eda oso no o ye na eswati o ye na ekane so ayeden ati
Melodies TV on YouTube.
Bana osanso be kwa akobobosua na afi wakwa akobobosua mo na tre at the long run no ye ni na ewie kra na still ye be kobiom say ye kwa akobobosua but for now no there was ye debt restructuring. Now cdtalk.com ensem na se edi free Ghana a care so and everything, and it's a very good article, just that ewa. Okay, bear with me. Me explaining articles ni be so that what would hear me obetia because there's something in for Ghana near why invest ewo Ghana bank because adie we ya eba na akwa say mo musika mo invest ewo banks no mo na adie we eba aba beto mo so mo ahwe ni ye ya musika no ebia conditions bi beba ho eso betumi atia na bibi according to asemwa sa article we eka and what people are saying on social media. So let's try to read the article. I can't read everything, but I'll pick out the important points and then we understand what's going on. Now see, Ghana's public debt as of June 2022 stood at 393.4 billion Ghana cedis, almost $40 billion, and equivalent to 76% of GDP. Also, this figure is huge, but largely meaningless without the proper context. And so, before I explain what restructuring is and how it could affect your investment, I will give a simple explainer of why Ghana's debt is such a problem. Into the opening paragraph, no tre a car a so debt to GDP. And I will say, asem no, what can the trasa ebia na wan tiase nti wo betremu ama ya tiase ya yesika wo banks are invest wo banks no. The restructuring are buying eba be because mate say somewhere next week and next month na buying be shase. Into restructuring are yesi are buying eba be how it will affect yen ayedi yesika ashe government bonds ewo bank no emu. Now, I say every government has to borrow to finance its activities. It is not visible for a government to wait for tax revenue or revenue from natural resources to flow into the treasury before it undertakes the critical task of maintaining infrastructure, paying public service workers, national defense, waste management, and so on. Therefore, government has to borrow from both domestic sources and foreign sources. Into what I say, aban bia wo wi asemu bia ebobosia na wo mo de ahwe ade a ehiomo aban na betumi abase wo mo we gudie
Melodies TV on YouTube.
Na so egudie na ejapade no ase at the end of the year ansa na yehu sika yenya ye betumi eyusu yentumi ntwen ma ye ni na ende ansa na ye ka se Ghana sika yenya ye no eni nti ye ba betua ejumayefo ka ye ba betua we mu ka ana ye betwen at the end of the year eto a ye gigi ni ana se eto ni nti at the end of the year afiansa ye betua kadabi nti aban edi kan bobosia na bosia no wo de ayempuntunjuma ewo ne krom Inti ye ne ende na aban no enyama ema ni sika no eba na afi ode akwa akotia ka no. And I hope you guys are understanding this point. Very, very simple. As in Ghana, government borrows from domestic sources through the money market and the capital market. Into what I say Ghana, two forms and are buying or bobosia, money market and the capital market. Now I say the money market is a fancy way of saying short-term securities such as treasury bills, and the capital market involves long-term securities such as notes and bonds. Into okoto treasury bill la a money market. Not just say treasury bill no awakwa akoto no wodi usika bobosia ama aban o bo aban bosia at the end of the maturity no na aban ama winsi hu into okoto treasury bill la no ye friend the money market o kwa akoto long term government bonds obi wo ho a 1 million Ghana cedis ton e wo ne account mu o se opese okoto government bond for ebia 5 years into sika no de beto for 5 years 5 years ni we are insi hu a wo benya no na aba beto so inti eno no de ye kan say eno no ye friend of the capital market inti aban bobusia wo man na mu a 2 ways onya sika from treasury bill onya sika from capital market. And I hope you guys understand that. Also the actual mechanism through which this is done will be discussed later in this post, but and then I'm the actual mechanism and I'm because I want us to go fast. Now I say Ghana's government also borrows from foreign sources through concessionary borrowing and commercial borrowing. Now, into local borrowing in the two money market and capital market. Here we are.
Melodies TV on YouTube.
And our foreigners na no and the friend of concessionary borrowing and commercial borrowing. I say concessionary borrowing can best be described as cheap borrowing. This is when government borrows from multilateral organizations such as World Bank, IMF, Africa Development Bank, or when it borrows from other nations such as Japan, USA, or China. Say Ghana for one say ya na bobosia World Bank for Sika, IMF for Sika, and no your friend of concessionary borrowing. And no ya na insi hu ne nheda ndoso. Enti ye ko bobosia for USA for ho, Japan for ho, sa amai ne ho a. And your friend of concessionary borrowing. And yes, also commercial borrowing. Commercial borrowing, no, or say, on the other hand, is where government borrows from private lenders who charge commercial interest rates over the past 15 years. Who charge commercial interest rates, and only private lenders, not to say private institutions. Able to make from organizations like World Bank and private people. Now, I say over the past 15 years, Ghana's government have taken large commercial loans. Eurobond, a commercial loan. Into over 15 years, also because they are able to borrow much more than they would get from concessionary borrowing, and also because there are no restrictions on what they can do with the money. Now, a free IMF for the World Bank for one. Ayana die ye di sika ne koye no. Omo make sure say ye di sika ne beye. Eno mu sika no mo be ma ye ne nso no. Enhya dan nso saa. Ba ye ko bobosia frisa Eurobond ne ho a.
Melodies TV on YouTube.
Eno nso die ye di sika ne beye bia na ya na wo mo ni ntechi. Inti Ghana for the past 15 years no. Guess what? Sa ankrofo ne na ye type because ye koji sika na ye pani bebre ye koji nso a ye mpese wo bi beba be tre ye ndie ye di sika ne beye ya ba be bobosia na no me metre de me de bosia ne beye da bi ye mpesa nti wo hwa Eurobond for na wo munsin hu no eso no sa side no ene ye taiko because of the conditions attached to that one. I hope you understand that. Okay, ye na ye sua de endo. I see the size of a country's debt does not matter as long as investors are convinced that he can pay the debt. Now, I say no kwani nyame anim ni se eka eda obi so a eno enya asem o eka da obi so enya asem se nipa kono tumi tia kana eno no asem ni ho but so tumi ntia eno na ya asem no ntie bia obi everyday wo bobosua efri obi ho but de bia wokwa wonya de bia wokwa ye de ma no because at the end of the month bia no onya etiaka. And a lot of businessmen in this country, that's what they do. A lot of these big businessmen, or more banks, ko bobosia, no de akwa ko ye juma, at the end of the day omu to meet yaka inti de bi omo kwa omo inti no na enya asem enya bone se wo bobosia na enya bone but wo hwe Ghana inti wo hwe America wo mo abobosia omo debt to GDP ratio 120%. But America kwa bobosia wo baby a eya na de mo because enim se mo de mudi mo huni mu bu mo ho mutumi tia. Now the ama Ghana de no aye hu ne se ye nkrofo bi abosia na aye bo no wo mo anhu ne se ye ntumi ntia. Eni na ama Ghana asem aye asem na kenya sa na ka asem we nya asem bia bosia ya bo na kenya asem bia. What you say? So that is the explanation on this particular paragraph. Ewa, I don't want to read it, but this is the explanation. Now, we'll see. Not surprisingly, foreign investors have become unimpressed by our debt sustainability and have therefore refused to lend us any more money. Into the America no. Sisi ani yentumi nye sika no from outside ni biom because omo ne say Ghana ye nkrofo bia busia ne yentumi ntia. Nti omo man sika biom ene na ama eka ana asem aba beto oman esoi. That paragraph 2 it's well explained. Now we'll see with the situation spiraling out of control, government options were limited. In an ambitious move to raise tax revenue, government introduced the e-levy, a 1.5% tax on electronic transfers that has so far generated 93 million Ghana cedis compared to the 1.4 billion Ghana cedis envisioned. Now, Embrana e-levy ko so mema moti ase say MPP fo ni na e ka tren say e-levy de be yi kwan ye de be we no e yentro. And this is the explanation. Because ye kwase ye ko bobosia na yenya na afi wo se ye hwe yankasa ye mu na yenye sika. Eno nti na aban nim say e-levy na enye nso chinchi na etwan wo se o de e-levy ne beto ye so ene nde apaska yi. Nti de na ye pay free e-levy ni mu kra na yenya. Nti this is what it explains. As the government has been forced to borrow more in the money market, thus raising treasury bill rates to 30% from 12.5%. Now, okay say, ye shasiye, ye siadio, itimuntie ni ye shasiye, ye kan money market, capital market. And no, ye locally, a buying air bobusian locally from banks now, ye friend money market, capital market. Money market ni a treasury bill ni short terms no. Capital no the long term ones. And sana foreign one no and also ye nti no sisi ano foreign one ye ntumi nkonko bobusia nti na afi aban pesika e wo se wo ba local. Now local ni nso aban percent krofo emma ne mo sika ye nti memufo no ye bo bosia bebre ma aban ye bo ne bosia na eno no sa no mama wati asese obi a woko bank say me ye treasury bill me to government bond bia no indirectly no what you are doing is say o ka say me bo aban bosia me de me sika bo aban nti aban bosia nti aban pese Ghana fo bebre na ebeto treasury bill ede ye sika ebo ne bosia nti ne de aban ye ne say wama interest rate na akosro nti Ghana ni betena say hu say treasury bill interest rate akosro nti no menko na menko ye dan menko nkotobi. Nti no na trese indirectly no odi usika abobusian because aban to me nji sika wo outside. Ti afei de treasury bill akosro ama aban wo yeden wo ji yesika. Ba ebosia a wo betia yen. I hope you guys understand that point. Me tretre mu na wati ase ye because me read the article na me ti bibia ase. Now, what say it is important that you understand the debt crisis situation in order to understand what the government may do next. And that is restructuring. Inti baby a ye de ba nina no ye tretre mu so that restructuring ya ban eba be ye uyo bi a wakwa akoto treasury bill and a government bond e was say hu say restructuring ni de bibi eba e bi eba affect such in a way. That is why I've explained everything, and at this point and I hope you are understanding. I see restructuring simply refers to changing the terms of the repayment of a debt. It's a restructuring the extra na say wakwa akobo bosia wa tre nipa kro na say bosia we ya maba beboyi ebia me din sihu 10% na beto so amount maba bebo bosia 100 cedis me se me de ba ebia 1 week me de ba me de 10 cedis beto so amount me de 110 na beto so amount restructuring ne tre say metro say nana embra me catch no ayedin inti saa 110 no 10% ameka say me de beto so no 10 ne kra me nyanto so ena ebia saa 1 week na me yese me de brɛ no yentwe nko 1 month eno ne efre na restructuring inti za aban yese wo be ye debt restructuring na de aban eba be ye no inti yen a ya bobosua ma aban ye de yesika to treasury bill ne nyama e wo se aban etia yen no aban ba be ye restructuring or be train say time now wo ye na adwen say wo betia yen eni ne nsi hu no ontumi ntia yen sa time no ebia sika ye de man ne kra no de obenya ma yen no eni nsi hu a wo ka say wo be ma yen ne kra no nsi hu no de ode be ma yen no eni. So that is what aban eba be ye yen sisia. Is it clear? I hope you guys are understanding what is going on. I hope you guys are getting it. Okay? Okay, so let's move on. That's the explanation of how the restructuring is. Okay? Let me just read the last paragraph. No, this is not the last paragraph, but you understand this point. Or see, or tre aban sa bondi bosia ya bosia no mo a sika no bebre na ewa aban ho. Bank of Ghana 5%. Commercial banks for omo 34%. Not just a banks Ghana. Firms and institutions 24%. So here institutions ne firms and commercial banks ni na omo ni na no ebru 50%. Not just say omo sika omo de ato treasury bill ni nyama wo banks no they will be hit the more because yen and ye sika ne dawson yen na ye bosia ya bo aban no e dawson wa aban ho. So oba be restructuring bi na affect ya ebe affect yen more. I hope you guys are understanding. Okay, so that point is also clear, I believe. Now, there was an example on my I'm a person me read the trail so that you understand what's going on. Now, sa adie no and I walk say a haircut into your friend a haircut restructuring no and I walk friend no a haircut, right? It was say a haircut in exchange for upfront payments would have been welcomed by investors, as many are already seeking to sell off their bonds at steep losses in exchange for immediate liquidity. However, government lacks the money to pay off investors at the moment. Therefore, the most likely course of action could be a haircut without upfront payment and the stretching of a payment period. As an illustration, let's say an investor purchased a 1 million Ghana cedi 10-year bond at an interest rate of 20%. The government could propose that the bond is extended to 15 years, that the face value is reduced to 500,000, that the interest rate is reduced to 10% or any combination of the three. It's one my perfect example. Say young fan say, obi akwa top bond. Ghana for mo abrochi, mostly musika wo ha. Mo the touch treasury bill ne government bond. Young fan say what touch treasury bill and a government bond. A bond no, what turn for 10 years. Say after 10 years no maturity no, and they say we benya 20% of that event saying 1 million, which is 200,000 Ghana cedis. Wakwa to sa bond no. E wa aban ho. Aban ye ba be ye restructuring ni. The aban ye kan say, Charlie, no kwani nya minimum to mintia. Inti e bia sa 1 million ya oto ye. Insi hu a wo de be ma no obe calculating it say the usika no ye 500,000 Ghana cedis. Inti usika no be ya ne say or calculating half amount instead of the 1 million cedis no. Insi hu no be calculating no or calculating half amount. Aban wi a na ma tell say 10 years bond now waka tell say wo be ma 20% nka no to me sisi ano obe na 15 years. Inti e bia na we need that so say by the end of the 10th year no who expected 200,000 Ghana cedis bi now they akwa koye adwuma bia and the abaya extended ako 15 years. That is our plans are say ebia na we need that so say abaya aye ni 20% amount and then abaya interest dabi say ne nyama mu aye din no wo ye ne 10% iti wo hwa omo a. And a lot of companies live on this. A lot of companies, how they make their money, and they say they do investments like this, right? Investment be say no more. In the end, some microphone na kwa dani e kai do so because plans are wo sika na ye ni na no restructure na ban e ba be ye wo be say plans no. Inti wa wo tie me e bia na so wo de sika to bonds e wo Ghana, treasury bill wo Ghana, we hear him say by the end of a year, by the end of 2 years, sika obenyeni odiko ye dwuma bi. Sisi our plans never say because abambe to matter say end of the year na me ne wa kwa agreement say metia no. Sisi a me twen ko 3 years. It is our plans be ya. Afi also twen ko 3 years. Our plans be out this sika ne ya. Also twen ko 3 years. Sika buying promises say by the end of the year 10% in Sinhua or the Bema no, and that was so into what plans be now this is Sika ya, and that so pay baby pay Sika be count. So you guys understand what's going on. So restructuring, this is what is going to happen. Montreal, why your comment box. I hope everything is clear. Montreal, why your comment box.